Welcome to the podcast, Prosperity and Beyond. I'm Michelle Stamper, your mindset and manifestation coach, here to help you create your dream life from the inside out. In this space, we deep dive into self-image, mindset shifts, manifestation, meditation, universal laws, so you can align with your highest timeline and fully step into your authentic power. This is your sacred space to trust your intuition, raise your vibration, and unlock prosperity and freedom from within, starting now. Say it with me. I am prosperity and beyond. Today, I'm so excited to welcome the incredible Valene Stone. Valene is a fitness, dance fit, and mind fit coach with a true passion for personal development and growth. She is known for her remarkable energy and for inspiring others to tap into their invisible superpower. She is also the author of the recently launched book, Fit and Fabulous: The Secret to Your Dream Body in 3 Simple Steps. Transform your mind and body. And her children's book, The Little Inventor, is coming soon. Valene's mission is all about movement, mindset, and creation. And I can't wait for you to experience her energy and wisdom today. Let's get started. I'm so excited to have Valene Stone with me here today. We already introduced her, but I really want to take a moment to say that I really manifested this relationship, this connection. We have so much in common, and she has so much to share with the audience. And just I want to thank you for being here, Valene, today. Can you tell the audience a little bit about you and the beginning of your personal development journey?
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I love tuning in and listening to your episodes, and it is a true honor and blessing to be here with you. And it is also a blessing to have connected with you in my life. It's definitely a divine guidance. And a little about me. I am a mother of 2 beautiful boys. They are 12 and 9. One of them was just zipping around in here. I'm about to be recording right now. I've always loved, since I was a little girl, loved moving my body. And it started out with Thriller, Michael Jackson. Shout out to the amazing, incredible one and only Michael Jackson. I was born in 82. So that was right, I believe I was 1 when Thriller came out on MTV, and I was dancing to it in front of the probably a wooden TV television set. That's where my journey started. I used to work out with my mom to Olivia Newton-John and Richard Simmons, like home workouts, and we'd be dancing to all the music videos, all sorts of different types of music, from country to rock to Michael Jackson. I used to be in dance. I was a ballerina. I have always been tied to dance. So I did a dance club in middle school. I did it in high school. And then when I went to college locally in Massachusetts, I joined the dance club. So it's always been a huge part of my life. And fitness, I've always been loving to just work out and try out different workouts and classes and moving my body. And so I would say, like, once I moved to New York City after college, I continued with the love of dance. I went to Broadway Dance Center, and I also started going to a gym and taking, different workout classes and things like that.
Is that where all the mindset and fitness came together, or you started to build both?
Okay, so yeah, I didn't actually touch on this point, but back in when I lived in New York City, my mindset growth and development and study really started when somebody told me to go to Barnes& and Noble and get the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. I had started reading that book over and over again, so much so that it was literally falling apart. I would go, if I had a long flight, instead of reading fictional like Harry Potter, I would be bringing this book with me. I kept carrying it around, reading it and doing it. I started doing some of the things that he recommended from the true life stories that he would have in there. And I started grasping onto that. I implemented it for myself, for my kids and the family. We can visualize ourselves having peace and harmony. We can write it out. We can say it to each other. I was very, very open to it. And I knew that there was more to us, to the mind, to the power of the mind. And I so believed in it so much. But I also had this inner knowing, like, oh my gosh, just keep reading this book over and over again until you actually get it, until you start seeing the things, which I didn't realize I was doing, was programming my subconscious mind, until you really start doing this. And I was introduced to this program with Bob Proctor, a Bob Proctor consultant. Bob Proctor is no longer with us in the physical plane. Neither is my dear mentor and friend, Brian Delmaso. I was introduced to him and his beautiful daughter, Madison Delmaso, now Madison Crossan, and they are PGI consultants, and they had a program called Mindset Masters, and my dear friend Jaleesa from college, she introduced me to the group in the beginning of 2020. So I signed up, and 5 minutes in, I'm like, girl, why didn't you get me in here sooner? At the beginning of the meeting, Brian's like, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for all the new people that are joining in. And by the way, there are 3 books that Bob Proctor always recommends. And one of them we're going to talk about is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I was like,
The
oh my God,
synchronicity.
I'm in the right place. And then it was like Psycho-Cybernetics. And I can't remember, there was one other book that Bob had recommended that he was sharing with us. It was like, it was Neville Goddard, The Power of Awareness, something like that. Ordered it. Like, I was like writing it down. I'm ordering that book. So I was all ears. I was just like, give me this information. There's more. There's more for people. I want this. I love this. I need this. My grandmother, near and dear to my heart, super close with her. I used to live with her, my grandfather in college. And she was a beautiful, just breath of fresh air. One of those lovely spirits who just, she's a homemaker. She just took care of everybody. I was one of the last people to be, I'm her first-born grandchild, and I was one of the last people to be in her presence before she passed. And it was it was the day I signed up, was one of the last days I saw her at home. And then a couple days later, from signing up with this program, I was with her in her hospital room, and I knew, looking at her beautiful blue eyes looking at me, like, there's more. There's a spirit, that I'm this spiritual being. Physically, she wasn't able to like move, her eyes and her spirit, her energy. I just knew then that there was like so much more for us. And what Brian taught, he helped so many people, and he learned it from Bob. And it was helping people with death, learning about death being a transmutation of energy. So I incorporated that immediately. Like, I changed my paradigm about experiencing death, and I shared it with my little children. They were small. They didn't understand what happened to grandma, their great grandmother. It was seeing how they reacted to me was huge. And so as I was growing and building this like new, I don't know, system, I guess, for us, for our family, I was adapting, and it just slowly started to, it's amazing how you can change your paradigm pretty quickly too. But sometimes like a death in the family can have a paradigm shift for you, and going through like a divorce like that as well. So
It sounds like a really pivotal moment too, as well, realizing we're more than just this physical being and connecting to that intuition, that higher self that you just know, letting that guide you in that synchronicity with the book, and then following your intuition to invest in yourself.
that first time seeing Bob live was May of 2020, when I think it might have been his first ever like virtual, because he was always in person. And that helped throughout that, in the beginning of that journey. It was just so incredible. I felt like he was this angel, like hovering over the entire earth. Like, he was still here with us in the physical plane. And it was just like, I saw him as that then. I had not experienced that in my life, like thinking of someone else that way. And I know I'm not the only one person.
I'm getting emotional just in like 2 seconds when you said it like that.
Just thinking of him like that, I know I'm not the only one, right? I've never met him personally, physically, and I know that you haven't either, but we can talk about that. It's amazing, incredible how strong his spirit and energy was and still is. And I knew that he had something. So he was telling us, like, there's this thing going on. It's okay. Be aware of it, but you get to choose. Like, don't let it govern you. Don't let it scare you. And that's Brian Domaso, which was his consultant. He was coaching with him directly. He'd meet with him directly. He was like, Bob would share this. So he was embodying what Bob was teaching him too. So,
Exactly, because they were on the same frequency, and then you were working with Brian, right? So you were feeling that frequency. It was all one. You were connecting with Bob.
but just seeing Bob up there, that during going back to that first meeting, and I kept watching the replay because they had the replay available. I remember seeing some people stick out, like that really stood out to me during that. And also one other person that I did meet in the journey in the beginning, it was via Zoom, was Phil Goldfine, who was brought in by Brian, who was one of Bob's clients, but also started teaching, and he's a Hollywood producer. His story was incredible. He came in to one of our live meetings. I got to ask him a question directly. I was so inspired. I was like, wait a second, you're 50 years old, and you brought your child to a swim meet, and the swim coach said, well, why aren't you doing it anymore? Because it brought you back to when you were a kid, and you had this idea to be an Olympic gold medalist at 50, and you're doing it. How did you get over that fear? Like, I got to ask him that question live. because he was open for questions and he was on with this meeting, and everybody was meeting on Zoom during those times because it was like June of 2020. And then Arash he was, obviously one of Bob's top sales consultants. I think he was Bob's VP of sales. We got to meet him on a couple of our meetings, and then he also shared some of his recordings with us as well. He was so impactful and incredible. He was so in alignment with like Brian and what he was doing. Two people that's really stood out so much during that during that meeting, that live seminar that weekend, was Peggy McCall and Brian Proctor. I always remember them, and they stuck out in my mind. Like, you know what? Like, it would be incredible to follow them in their journey. That was the first thought when I first was exposed to all this. I was like, wow, this is so incredible. And they were teamed up. Brian and Peggy are accountability partners. So when they were on the science it was a Science of Getting Rich webinar, they were together in that journey. And there were a couple other people. I think her name is Mikey. She stood out. She was helping run the show over there, and her story was so fabulous. And then there's another amazing man, DP Gates. I remember him standing out during that as well, and just what his story was and how he carried himself. And he was in such close proximity with Bob, like just being right there with him, and his journey as a single father definitely stood out to me. And it's just been absolutely amazing. That year I started working with Madison, and then I was actually working with Brian, working with people, and I was calling people during the pandemic and taking them through questions that really came from Bob, I believe, and asking people like what they would love in their life. And I was so inspired by that. I was still moving my body. I was getting out there. I was inspiring people, going live on Facebook, and people were asking for it. When you get to see people in person, they were like, "Oh my God, Val, you know, I'm over here eating my like fruity pebbles, and I scroll on Facebook and you're working out and I feel like crap because I'm eating like crap and I can't do that." I'm like, "Yes, you can. You can do it." And then it's like, "I can't do this because of COVID. I'm not going to the gym. The gyms are closed." I'm like, even if the gym's closed, or if you can go to the gym, go. Like, do something. You can move your body. You can do it. Like, don't beat yourself up. People are blaming COVID on gaining weight. So I knew something hit me like, oh my gosh, you need to share this information with the world. And I think of Rhonda Burns, shout out to her, like The Secret. She talks about it. She talked about how she gained weight because she had a baby, or it was like her second baby where she really gained weight. I think it was her second baby. She realized she had gained like 45 pounds. And then she realized, oh my gosh, she had accepted this into her subconscious mind. Not that she wanted to, but it just got in there. So then she started focusing on the weight she wanted to be, and eating. She's able to eat whatever she wants. And then Bob Proctor would teach this, and he literally taught it in his teachings. Like, this is why diets don't work. You can achieve the results you desire. Losing weight doesn't work. You're not programming your subconscious mind. The psychocybernetic mechanism in your brain will bring you right back on track. It's the thermostat effect.
What you focus on
Yeah, and it's
becomes.
what you focus on. I started sharing that in my workouts. I'm like, "Hey guys, even if I'm like, if you don't think you can do this workout, that's crazy because you could be 80 years old and you could still do this. Move your body and reach up and reach forward." I'm like, I'm doing some of these intense workouts, but there's always a way to step up, and there's always a first step. Like, you can do it. You don't have to do these workouts I'm doing, but you can move your body and you'll feel better no matter what. And also, I knew that it started in the mind. I'm like, you can do it. So I started just sharing this information over and over again, and I kept going, I kept doing it. And then I was inspired to my first book, actually, which is coming out in the fall, The Little Inventor. That's the first book I wrote, and it was about my son Chase um and all his inspirations and all his creations and inventions from the age of 2 to 10. And I was inspired by my dear friend Jaleesa. She had written her book, and she had the boys and I involved with her children's book. And so I thought, oh my gosh, this kid is so fascinating. I got to write a story about my son. And so I did that. So I started writing it. I didn't know what I was doing. I literally had this cute little booklets that I bought for the kids. I used that to start writing. I started handwriting the story. And and that's how I started the journey of writing. But it's kind of ties together with my Fit and Fabulous book, because I started writing the book, the Little Inventor book, and then I stopped for a bit. And then I was working a regular job in the design build industry, and something hit me one day. We had sold our house in the divorce after the official divorce situation, and we're living in apartments. And I'm like, what am I going to do with myself? What am I doing with my life? It hit me intuitively, Val, you've got to do something with your book. You got to get the Little Inventor book out there. And by the way, my son Chase had written a book also first before I did. He wrote a book called The Stars Falling from the Sky, and it was a comic book series. He inspired me so much. So I said, well, how am I going to do this? And then I said, oh my gosh, doesn't Peggy McCall, isn't she like an author and do all this stuff? So I was friends with her on Facebook, and she went live like literally the next day when I made a decision. Oh my gosh, I'm going to do something with this book. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to finish writing it, and I'm going to get it out there. I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to do it. I'm going to figure out like the way, right? So I ended up seeing her live launching her daughter-in-law's children's book about her son called What a Mess Kid. And it was a story inspired by her young son, her, all very similar. And so she was launching the book. So I was talking to them live. I'm like, oh my gosh, Peggy, how are you? I'm like, I remember you from the Science Getting Rich seminar. I'm like, I want to connect with you. So I connected with her, and she messaged me back, and she was like, I'm going to set you up with my team. And so from there, the rest was history. I met with one of her team members, Vladdy, and she was amazing. And she got me in. I signed up with Peggy's author program, and she's very well known. I mean, there's famous authors that reached out to her to help them with more books of theirs. She has helped so many people in their journey, not just with books, but with business and mindset and all the things. And she is one of Bob's students. He saved her life when she was 19 years old. And and then he saved her life twice. He saved her life again, she says, but he wouldn't take credit. And she's definitely one of my mentors that really pushed me to take action and believe in myself. I signed up with her Skipping Levels program at the same time, right after I signed up for the author program. It was in the beginning of last year where I started writing this book. Love writing books. I think my purpose and passion in this world is to serve millions of people worldwide. One of the ways to do that is through writing a book and getting your book out there to the world. And so I started writing this book, and I titled it Fit and Fabulous: The Secret to Your Dream Body in 3 Simple Steps. Transform your mind and body. And it's all about focusing on the right thing and moving your body. But it's so inspirational. It's not a long story.
Can you explain? Because there's 3 steps: being, seeing, and moving your body when it comes to transforming your mind and body. Can you explain those 3 steps in your own words?
Yes. So the 3 steps. So first of all, this book talks about the number one fitness secret that no one talks about. It starts in the mind. So the first step is being, and if you'd like, I can share with you a little bit about it. It's called the thermostat effect, which was taught by the amazing Bob Proctor. And he really, I feel like, studied that from the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And it's all about the thermostat in a room. If it's set at 70 degrees, literally, if it turns to 80, or if it gets cooler or hotter outside, the thermostat will bring the room temperature right back at where it's set. So that's exactly how the mind works. We are programmed a certain way. And if anybody who knows Bob Proctor, he studied programming and the power of the mind for years, 60 years of his life, right? But I heard that it took him, he really narrowed in, and it took him 16 years or something like that to really, really understand the paradigm and how it works. And so that's what it is. The paradigm is a multitude of habits that's instilled upon us from the moment we're born. So there's things from our environment that we do that are just happen, like, but then also, like, there's things that we're programmed that are good and they're bad. And so if you are looking to, like, become a bodybuilder, or if you're a college student looking to gain weight, or if you are overweight and you know that you would like to be a healthy weight, you've got to focus on targeting the area that you'd love. So whether it's looking a certain way or targeting a weight or gaining weight, you want to focus on the actual weight and the end result. Love the airplane analogy. When a pilot sets the destination on the airplane, it's set, right? There's an autopilot on the airplane. And if it goes on course, the plane is literally set to bring it right back on course. It's exactly how our paradigm works. So even if we have a like a desire to, let's say the doctor tells you you need to lose weight, well, what they really mean is they really want you to do is there's a target weight, an area that they want you to be at. So that's really what they want you to focus on, but they're focusing on the thing that you're doing, so that you're like measuring it every week. But what happens is you're not planting that seed of the thing you want into your subconscious mind, so you're not programming it directly. So what happens is 1 or 2 months down the road, you find yourself back where you started. It's because you're not programming your mind through the auto suggestion, through what Napoleon Hill taught in Think and Grow Rich. He discovered through his 20 years of study. It's programming the mind through auto suggestion by focusing on the
Yeah.
right thing. You you have to get clear about what you would love. And so that's why I call that first step being. It's all about just stopping, getting yourself clear on what you would love and focusing on that, writing it down on a goal card and being it, seeing it now as if it's here, which brings me to the second step, which is seeing. It's the art of visualization. It's going there in your mind as many times throughout the day as you can and writing it down on that goal card, taking that goal card from step one and visualizing it. So when you wake up in the morning, looking at it, when you go to bed at night, looking at it, throughout your day, you can put it on your mirror in your bathroom.
I'm actually on that page right now, page 17. And what I love about your book is that it's interactive. So there's journal prompts, there's places you can write into it. It guides you to do the work. And I think that is one of the most powerful things about your book.
Yeah, to bring that up on page 17, in step one, being the thermostat effect, I have the goal card. It's right in the beginning of it. So so this is learned from Bob, right? I'm so happy and grateful now that I am fit, healthy, and strong, and I weigh X amount of pounds. Now, you can use this if you love, like if it's something that you really would love to target. And what Bob always taught, if it excites you and scares you at the same time, that means go for it. So, and maybe you were at a certain weight, a certain point in your life. Take a photo of that, of what you would love to emulate. But you can absolutely achieve that body. We always change. Our bodies change. I love Wayne Dyer actually taught about this. Like our children's little hand, at my son's hand at the age of 9, it's like a tiny little hand. That hand's not going to be that when he's 19. Our bodies change and create over time. So you got to give yourself time. Like it's going to take time. It could take time. Like you could put a target date if you'd love, but don't freak yourself out. Don't be That's what the step 2 I talk about this. Like don't beat yourself up.
You talk about the Power Life script. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know that's been a powerful exercise for seeing.
Yes, for the art of visualization, exactly. Shout out to Peggy McCall. She created this. It's like building your own movie in your mind. And the Power Life script is super powerful. You can utilize it for everything in your life, for all the things, for your dream home, your finances, what you're doing for your work, for your service, for the world, for your family, for your health, for, having financial abundance, for all the things in life. The Power Life script really helps with that. With the fit and fabulous, with the purpose of this exercise, you could create a mini life script based on recording what you wrote down on your goal card and how you're feeling, like how you're going to feel when you are feeling fit, when you are fit and fabulous and you're living in your dream body now. Like go there now, how it feels. So the reason for the Power Life script is to actually program your mind and go there in your mind when you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed at night. And you can listen to it multiple times throughout the day. I mean, Peggy, I wonder how many times she listens to it. She probably listens to her Power Life script like 7 to 10 times a day. And when I was in her group, we would all talk about that. We would say, okay, well, I listened to it 3 to 5 times this week, most of the week, or like some people set a goal of that, because this way, like if you go for a walk or if you're doing dishes, you can pop it into your headphones and you make a recording of yourself repeating it so that it's like going into your subconscious mind.
You visualize what you want. You see it as here now. You write down the goal weight. So does that mean you're checking your weight? Does that mean you're analyzing where you're at? Does that mean you're looking at the reality, or you're
Mm.
always focusing on what you want?
You are spot on with that question. I actually had a scale. There was a scale in the electronic version of this book, and at one point, because I absolutely would recommend not measuring it every week. Let's give an example. I have interviewed a few young college men, and their goal was to gain a certain weight every week. And I asked how they got there, and they said, well, for the last month and a half, I measured it and I only gained zero point 0.5 to 0.75 a week. And then I was really frustrated because I've been doing it for a month and a half. And next thing you know, I'm back to my original weight. So logically, it makes sense. I am going to gain zero point 0.5 to 0.75, maybe a pound a week. You got to focus on the end result now. So that's why I'm saying focus on the target weight, like focus on the result that you desire and have that in front of you. So you want to focus on your target weight. I have it on page 15. I have it written down And then obviously it's in there on page 17 where I have you actually writing it out. And that's why I have it in here. When you're reading this book, you can actually take a moment and write down what your target goal would be.
One thing I really like is in the moving part, you talk about all different ways you can move. It's not just one way. And it's about choose what brings you joy. And I love that because that ignites and it activates your frequency and you're enjoying it and you're being in the moment. So I really, really like that about the step 3, how you mentioned multiple modalities, walking, dancing. You even mentioned dancing in your kitchen, group fitness classes, running, yoga, rock climbing, like all these different things. What I love about you is you're all about fun and that you incorporate your dance into your workouts too as well because it's more than just moving, it's having fun.
It's having fun. I got the sticker from Esther Hicks.
Life
Abraham.
is supposed to be fun. It's I got the keychain.
You got a keychain? What?
Yeah.
I didn't get the keychain. I would love the keychain of that. I would love like a little bracelet.
Well, we'll go
uh,
see her again probably.
yeah. So I exactly. So life is you're supposed to have fun. I mean, Bob, that's what Bob Proctor taught. Like, have fun. Be like a child. You know, Brian Dalmaso, my mentor, we talk about that all the time. You got to have fun. Like, have fun doing that. And also, Bob comes to mind. Then once you start becoming aware of this, like you've got to show up. You've got to take the action and do the work. It's interesting because like when I look at my journey and like when I went through the difficult time, going through the divorce and feeling you're not feeling good emotionally, you're starting to feel all sorts of things, and we've all been through things in our lives. Like you go through something like that, stuff from your childhood could come up, and it's like, what can you do right now to feel good? So all you have is right now in the now, and sometimes you need to rest. Like I actually talk about being still and meditating in here as well. And I bet most people who get my book, who know me, who like see me going live on Facebook, they know me, they come out and see me. I love going out to live music, live shows. I love dancing, and they know me. I'm moving my body. They probably don't realize that I love to take time to meditate. And I was influenced and inspired by my mentors to do that. And one of them is Abraham Hicks. I mean, I started listening to her, and Bob Proctor. I started listening to when Bob was still alive. I was listening to his abundance meditation.
That meditation right there is actually how I connected with Bob on a spiritual soul level. I felt his energy activated in that, but he was helping me clear. He really helps people clear the poverty consciousness.
And he mentions the trees, the leaves, the abundance of, like your podcast, like prosperity and beyond, the abundance and prosperity of all things in life. And that's where the power life script can come in, because you're acting as if you're bringing it in now, like Neville Goddard, living in the end now. You're programming your mind through it, and you can write it out, and it's recommended to listen to record it and listen to yourself. I've had my children do that. My children have a vision for the year, and we do vision boards, and we do a mini power life script. It's like mirror work for my children. Actually, I've been doing that with them. I only recently started doing mirror work because of Brian Proctor. So one of my other amazing mentors that have been in my life is Brian Proctor. I mean, Peggy introduced me to him back in January of last year because my boys and I are working on an invention that we were inspired to create back in September of 2020. So within months of being exposed to Bob, the creativity that has come through me has been absolutely like skyrocket. I mean, based on a method that he teaches on focus and willpower. And my boys and I are inspired to create a device, a game for children that is like a focus fidget to help build that focus and build that willpower. And I started attracting all the people in town. I have a local man in town who's an inventor since he was 12 years old, to help us get this out into the market. So I reached out to Brian Proctor. He was like, yeah, like go for it. I'm so blessed and grateful. And now seeing Brian, he's teaching, he's coaching, he has a program, and that's where you and I met, Proctor Principles. I mean, he took what he learned from his father. His book was his vessel. My Father Knew the Secret. That book is so powerful. He started writing it before Bob died, before Bob passed away from the physical plane. I love how he says, and it's so emotional. He says he thinks his dad kind of knew that by the time he launched it, he wouldn't be here with us in the physical plane. And that happened. He's so humble and comes from a place of the heart. I know Bob is so proud of him, like him and Corey teaching this information, and he has the best team with him doing that. Tommy's amazing. He's coaching also in there. Brian helped me get this book out, and he motivated me. He said, Val, can you get this done in a week? I was like, okay. I was like, well, I was supposed to do it like January 1st, and here it is, May. 27th. I'm like, what the heck am I waiting for? Right. So I got hyper focused and I got it done. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I had the interior was done pretty much really well for an ebook, but it's not recommended to launch an ebook first. And my goal was to launch the paperback first. So I did that.
Where can people purchase the book or find it?
Okay, so I my book is available on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon right now. I would recommend you can just type in my name, Valene Stone, or Fit and Fabulous: The Secret. It will come right up. I am going to have available author copies, so that are signed. So you could also purchase directly from me, but you can reach out to me if you'd like one of those from my website. Valene at valenestone.com is my email. And so my main website is valenestone.com, but then I also have Fit and Fabulous in 3steps.com. So it's fit and fabulous in the number 3steps.com. And also I have another book. My children's book series is being launched in the fall. My first book is called The Little Inventor. It's all about Chase, my oldest son Chase, and all his creations and inventions from the age of 2 to 10, and how he would take inspired action every single day to create something great. And the purpose of that book is to inspire people of all ages to create something great every day. And in that book, I reference Henry Ford, Albert Einstein, and Bob Proctor, Genevieve Brand. And it's been such a blessing to, be in this energy and to get this out.
Well, it's amazing. You have so much to offer to combine both the mind and fitness together, the mindset and fitness. And this is definitely why somebody would love to work with you. And I know you're doing one-on-one coaching as well. So how could somebody sign up for that or connect with you with coaching?
So you can get on my website, fit and fabulous in 3steps.com. You can actually sign up for one-on-one coaching with me. You can also email me or message me directly on one of my social media platforms as well. I will get back to you. And we can work together directly. We could work out together, but also I think the biggest thing is starting in the mind, getting on a call with me and taking you through the 3-step process, I think would be fabulous so that this way you can get started on your journey in a focused, fit, fabulous, and focused way. I want everybody to know that I'm there. I'm here for you. If you don't know where to go and you get the book and you still feel stuck, you'd love to have that guidance. I'm here to work with you one-on-one. And also, I'm also available to work out in person or on Zoom, like during one of my fun workouts, which is a lot of fun. It's the trick is if you move your body, you'll feel good no matter what. And it's so true. And you can move your body dancing in the kitchen. I mean, even if you don't get your full workout in that you target every day, even if 7 to 10 minutes, in my book, I actually put in some of my favorite workouts because I feel like it is inspirational. My wish for you is to carry this book with you everywhere you go so that you reference it. I put some of my favorite workouts in there that are HIIT style workouts. HIIT workouts are amazing. It's a great way to do it because it's short, it's impactful. It's a great way to, like, if you have a certain target and you want to work out your total body. For me, I personally love targeting the full body, but there may be certain areas that you'd like to target, and you can do that. You can write it out with the system that I have in place here. And I really feel like exposing yourself to people that are on the same wavelength as you is so important, being in this energy. And I have, I'm working with an amazing mentor and coach that's been doing this a long time, DP Gates. So shout out to him because you know what? I only just started with him like a few weeks ago. And the way that he runs his program, and he's living it, he's doing it. And one of the biggest things that my key takeaways from him is being it now, moment to moment. And I feel like, in order to get started in this, why wait? Like the reason I wrote this wasn't for it to just sit on your shelf. You know what? Whatever works for you, if you want to read it before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning, set aside 10 minutes. It's not going to take you very long. The point is the action that's in here and emulating it and being exposed, being in a group setting. And that's the other thing too, is I think one of my biggest inspirations too is to start a group, and maybe create like a group setting where for 3 months we meet and go through the journal together. And because I also put a journal in here so that you are focusing on the right thing every single day. And if you
There's
fall
so
off,
many golden nuggets in here from all the mentors that you've worked with all the information you've learned, all the things. and then targeting the mindset specifically for fitness, which is something I haven't really focused on like I have in other modalities when it comes to relationships, when it comes to finances, when it comes to my business. But this has been an area where I think you're in my life for a reason. So I feel blessed to know you. And you are sharing such important information, but not just on an intellectual level, on a frequency level.
It's my editor, she shout out to her, Hannah. She was like, "Well, you got to put your story in there." And
Mm-hmm.
that's what like Brian and Corey, Corey Kelly Proctor, she recommends telling your story. My dear friend Tarifa, she's no longer with us in the physical plane. That woman, every day she spoke to me. If she only had 1 or 2 minutes with me on the phone, kept saying to me, Valene, share your story. Share your story. People want to
That's
hear
what
your
you're doing today.
story. And so, yeah, and that's what she did as well. And we're all here for a reason. We're here to live our best lives. And my purpose and passion and my mission in life is to help inspire people to have fun, to move their body, to do what you love, to create something great every day. And I do this with my kids. My kids know I'm that mom that's up in the obstacle course getting in trouble at launch trampoline park. You're not supposed to be up there. I'm like, how else was I supposed to go through this obstacle course? There wasn't a method. I was like, I just ran through. They dared me. The kids dared me to go. They're like, you try it first, Val. And Chase's mom, you try it first. So it's all about having fun and being in the moment. It's all we have is right now. So why not, go there now, go there in your mind now. And that's the purpose of this. It's like, it's a huge part of your life. Like the way you feel, the way you show up, the way like having the body of your dreams is possible for you. And you're not being selfish. Like Bob used to say, like, you're dealing with a delicate plastic instrument. You got to take care of it. And one of the other things too is when it comes to the mind is our body is an instrument of the mind. It does exactly what the mind tells it to do. It's being present, being in the moment. I chose this because I just think it's so beautiful. And this was my first ever sunrise yoga 7 to 10 minute workout at a sunrise Daytona Beach, Florida, back in 2020 was when this was captured. And who knew that I'd be putting it on a cover of a book, but it
Mm.
represents being like focus. Like look at the beautiful sunrise. It's all about being present, being focused in the moment. And I feel like the upside down, you're seeing the world in a different perspective if you could do this. And maybe not everybody can do this now. It's not about handstands. If you'd like, I could, if you want to learn handstands, I can come over. I'll teach you. We can meet at the beach and go do some handstands. I do love traveling, so you'll see me. I'll be traveling. I am traveling, so that's why I love doing handstands everywhere I go. I've been lucky and blessed to have gone to some amazing motorcycle trips over the last 5 years. I've been to Yellowstone a bunch of times, a couple times, and we did Yellowstone, Montana, and I mean, we were sitting a lot on the motorcycle. I would say, "Hey guys, here we go." I'd take my boots off, sometimes not, and I would like, I have to do a handstand here. There's like a 13,000 elevation foot drop.
Yeah, I feel like if you work with Valene, she's going to help you get fit. She's going to help you with your mindset. And she's also going to help you heal your inner child because she's giving you permission to be who you are, have fun, be in the moment. And I think that's what you have to offer so much. Valene will change your life.
Thank you so much. It's all within you, right? This is a method. This is definitely something that anybody can do. I mean, obviously, I would love to work with anybody who's willing and ready and able and willing to get started. There's a lot of women out there that we have a lot of responsibility in our lives, whether you have children or you don't, whether you're running businesses, whether you're working a regular job and you want to be an entrepreneur. You have the time. Everyone, that's one of the biggest things is we have the time to do it. But there's been a lot of men too, a lot of guys that reach out. They're interested. They want to see what I have in here. So, you're supposed to have like your target audience, and I do. A lot of women who are going to resonate with me, regardless of where they are in their journey, whether they're young in college or, in their 40s or 50s. I mean, anybody can do this.
What a blessing to be able to teach that. And we're never done learning. I feel like we're forever the leader and forever the student at the same time. And that's the best place to be, to leading by example.
Yeah, leading by always studying. Oh my gosh, you could never stop. I mean, and also it's like you can't change the time you got out of bed this morning, so don't beat yourself up for that either. What happened yesterday is gone. You can learn from it, but That's the other thing, is being in the now. And you, Michelle, you know this. You are very, very spiritual, and your spiritual growth and journey and channeling is like growing and building. And you're blessed. You're so lucky. You're like channeling Bob Proctor. Like, that's amazing. And I think it's a gift. And there's a reason we're connected. And I've so blessed on this
I can
journey.
feel it right now. It's like in my body. I feel like this connection. It's manifestation. It's law of attraction. It's when you feel the law coming together in a divine way for your highest good, you just know. You just know. And you're in the moment even more. When two souls come together, it's like that mastermind piece, like with Napoleon Hill. Like there's an expansion of consciousness. You remember, I remember, we remember, and then we expand into that intuition. And the intuition guides us into creating the life that you're creating right now. You're creating and attracting at the same time. I've been able to see it in the short amount of time we've been connecting.
Oh my gosh, listening to DP, shout out to him again. He in his first lesson, he talks about that. Like, it's the power of purpose. And he's like, and when you're creating, you're attracting. You're literally attracting your purpose. You're creating and attracting. Esther Hicks the other day, that's what she's saying. She's like, when you have that burning desire, you're moving toward it. You're in the validation.
That's why I connect with Brian so much, and you do too. We feel that heart centeredness, and that's what we resonate with. That's where we want to be, and that frequency.
You want to be in that frequency. You want to surround yourself with people that are in this frequency. And like, don't think that, oh, Val put this in a book. Like, I can't do that. If I can do it, you can do it. And that's why I'm here. Like, I would always say, that's one of my mottos. I would always say this when I'm working out. I'm like, if I can do this, you can do it too.
Yeah, this book will change your life. Like it's not just about fitness and mindset. It's going to change all areas of your life because once you learn about the mindset, it's the ripple effect is crazy.
It's about living in the end now too. Like, begin with the end in mind, start with the end outcome, and work backwards to make your dream possible. That's Dr. Wayne Dyer. Assuming your desire and live there as if it were true. No power on earth can stop it from becoming a fact. That's Neville Goddard. I love Albert Einstein. Imagination is everything. It's the preview of life's coming attractions.
Oh, I'm getting chills with all that.
I'm in there. The trick is, if you move your body, you will feel good no matter what, y'all. Valene Stone. So
Well, thank you so much for being here today and taking the time to share your story and share your gifts and show up in a way where you're empowering other people in the way you empower yourself because this work that you're doing is so important and it's just the beginning.
Yes, it's just the beginning. And thank you for your time and your energy and our collaboration. I love it. And I can't wait to come back again. And thank you all for your time.